Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming to you today from the classroom. The gym's closed. It's my day off. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, YouTube has been in existence now for about 20 years, and in that 20 years, I think virtually everybody who's ever lifted weights now has a YouTube channel, including me. Um, However, I think I've been around a lot longer than some of these guys, and I will tell you maybe 80% of what's on YouTube is worthwhile, and there's about 20% that's just out and out bullshit and just I don't know what some of these guys are doing on there, but anyway, there's an old saying. It's called paralysis by analysis. In other words, you're so busy trying to figure things out and watching this, watching that, reading this, reading that, and you end up getting confused. And it becomes like, well, you're going into the gym. Well, today, do I do bench presses? Do I do this? What am I doing today? What am I doing? Why am I here? A lot of this is psychological. What are my goals? Okay. What's my reasoning for even wanting to lift weights? There's a lot of it that's just psychological. So it doesn't even matter what's on YouTube, it's what's in your head, right? Why are you doing this? And again, you have to have goals, you have to be motivated, you have to be inspired. So a lot of what's on YouTube is inspiring and motivating. But really and truly, guys, this is so easy that even a caveman can do it. Not that easy, but what's happened is they've taken a very simple activity and it's been turned into a multi-billion-dollar industrial complex designed to make your dreams come true. Okay, so keep dreaming. This is not for everybody, especially the competitive aspects of it. But when I tell you that there's nothing new under the sun and nothing has changed in over 100 years, that's no lie. And I think one of the best things you can do is I like books, and I think everybody should have a library of books if they're interested, if they have a hobby or they're involved in some kind of an activity, and they're immersing themselves in that activity. The best way to do it is through books, reading material. Now, back in 1924, which is 100 years ago, this book was published. It's called Super Strength by Alan Calvert. Now, who's Alan Calvert? Alan Calvert was the guy who invented the plate loading barbell. Up until Alan Calvert came along, all the barbells looked like this. They were fixed weights. They had those rounded ends, and you couldn't change the weights. And basically, this kind of barbell was used as a strongman apparatus. The general public didn't really exercise with this. So Alan Calvert wanted to make weights available to the masses, and he figured the best way to do that would be by creating an adjustable barbell, so you can change the weights and make them lighter or heavier, whatever. Now, this book obviously took several years before it actually was published. So when I say there's nothing new under the sun, it goes back over 100 years, it's true. I mean, he talks about squats, deadlifts, dips on the parallel bars, chin-ups, military presses, bent over rows, barbell curls, and of course the equivalent dumbbell exercises. And it's all about progressive overload. Progressive overload is either you add more weight or you add more repetitions. And one of the things that I like to do was get the reps to about 6 to 8 reps. And then I would stay at that weight until I was able to get about 12. At that point, I would add weight. So 12 repetitions was always the goal, but the weight was heavy enough to get me only to about 8 repetitions, and then I would stay at that weight until I got to 12. This way I knew I was overloading my muscles, not only with weight, heavy weight, but also with repetitions as well. So that should give you a clue. Like, what do I do? Heavy weights, light weights, high reps, low reps. The answer is heavy weights and high reps, but you have to get to that. First you get to the heavy weights, and then you get to the reps. Increase the weights, get to the reps. Increase the weights again, and get to the reps. And that's basically my method of progressive overload. So if you're going to purchase any book, back in the day this was considered the Bible. It's not a big book at all because there's not that many exercises. The photos in here are rather small, so there's not much to show. But some of these guys had really, really great physiques. Obviously, the standards have gotten a lot higher, but for the 1920s and earlier, these guys look really, really good. In fact, if you can get to this in 2024, you're doing pretty good. Okay, so Alan Calvert's book Super Strength, a must-have. So I just highlighted a couple of things here. He says a man who uses a barbell does not have to do sensational lifting stunts, so you don't have to be a strong man in order to become either beautifully proportioned, very strong, or very healthy. And he goes, I have seen so many near miracles accomplished through training with barbells that I sometimes wonder why people waste time on other training methods. Okay, so, and he's got a section on how to build arms. You want to build arms. Okay, now consider the chinning, the chin up. Most of you consider that chinning the bar is simply a biceps exercise, but it develops the forearms almost as much as the upper arms. So there's a clue. Chin-ups. We still do chin-ups. Chin-ups, they did chin-ups in 1920s and before that, obviously. So it's very simple. Too much paralysis by analysis. Squats, deadlifts, bench presses, military presses, bent over rows, barbell curls, pull-ups, chin-ups. That's it. About 10 exercises in all, and you just work on those, work on building up your strength, adding weight and repetitions. At the same time, in 1924, this book was published. It's called, what do you know? Muscle Building. It was written by Earl Lederman. During the 1920s, early 1930s, Earl Lederman was the leading had the leading mail order muscle building business. And he wrote this book called Muscle Building in 1924. Again, the photos, they're kind of small, little snapshots, black and white, so it's tough to tell. But I'm telling you, some of these guys had really tremendous physiques, especially for that time period. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend that you pick up these two books, and that's all you're going to need. YouTube is very entertaining, and yes, you'll get a lot of good stuff off of YouTube. I'm not here to knock YouTube. I'm on YouTube, but you got to be careful. These split routines and exotic routines and exotic exercises, these came along when steroids came along, because what steroids do is they allow you to recover a lot quicker, so you can train more often, you can do more work. It's not necessary. It's not how much you can do, it's how little you need. Again, the body is an organism, and you don't want to drive yourself into the ground. It's not necessary. Which leads us to this. Now, for those of you who feel that size matters, in 1998, Arnold Schwarzenegger produced this 800-page, 20-pound compendium called The New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. Now, this, actually, I would consider this now the Bible, because it's basically a distillation of all of this stuff. It's all a variation on a theme. To Arnold's credit, he pays homage to all of the great champions and personalities that came before him and after him. The biggest attraction to me in this book is the photographs. There's a lot of candid photographs, not the usual posed photos that you see in the muscle magazines. So you actually get to see these guys the way they look when they actually train. A lot of great information in here. It takes you from soup to nuts, from the beginning stage all the way up to competition level. But you don't get to competition level until page, where is it? Oh. Competition starts on page 565. So you got a lot of work ahead of you to get to page 565. There's a lot of great information in here, as I said. The photographs are very inspiring, very motivating. It's got a basic training program. Lo and behold, what's in the basic training program? Squats, deadlifts, pull-ups, chin-ups, rows, military presses, barbell curls. Now, he goes into the elements of competition training. There's all kinds of programs in here, from beginner to advanced. But the most salient point in the whole book, where he talks about beginning and advanced programs. Now, in the beginning program, I have included just basic exercises designed to work each important area of the body. These exercises work well in combination to build up the size and strength of the body. But don't make the mistake of believing that these exercises are merely for beginners simply because they are included in the beginning program. No matter how advanced you become, these exercises are still vital to building and maintaining your body, except for very specialized training in which you are working only on certain weak points. You will always need to rely on these basic movements. So out of the 800 pages, that's your takeaway. Okay? Anyway, this is a great book, actually. And he even talks about the mind. Okay, the mind in bodybuilding. What does he talk about here? Where'd it go? Okay, and he talks about why are you training? What are your goals? Same thing that I've been talking about. So anyway, there you have it. Get yourself educated. I like books. Books are, to me, are better than videos. Videos are, the visual aspect is very nice, and some of these guys have have great presentations. But a book, there's something about a book, and you can't go wrong with any of these three books. I think all of them are still available on eBay, so make the investment. It'll be well worth your while. It'll give you some great insight into the sport and what you need to do to succeed at it. So that's it for today. Again, thanks for tuning in. Stay strong, keep training, and stay consistent, and stay safe. And we'll see you next time.